What's going on YouTube? Super Insane 18 here, and as promised, here is a Drytron deck profile. Now, if you saw the last video, I did two different combos with two different builds, and asked you guys which one you wanted to see, and without question, the one that was selected was the Magic Key variant. In fact, it is the only one that was selected, so this might be the only Drytron video I actually put out for a deck profile, but let's go ahead and jump on in. Full transparency though, I did change it up a little bit due to some suggestions and something that I think might just be a little bit better, so let's show you guys what we're doing. So starting things off with the Drytrons, we are of course playing triple copies of Alpha, triple copies of Zeta, and we also have the triple copies of Gamma. Now Gamma is one that I was considering maybe doing it 2, but I think it is better at 3. We are playing 1 Delta. If you did only want to play the 2 Gammas, then you could just play a second Delta instead, but I think that you need 10 names in order for it to really be able to go off as much as you need it to. Then we have 3 copies of Diviner of the Herald. Now this is the only part of the fairy package that we are still playing, just because you do need the utility to be able to send the Arclight from the extra deck. Then we have our 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, because we did actually change from the Dragoon engine that we were playing in the combo video to the DPE engine, and I'll show you guys why during the combo sequence. So we are playing the 2 Destiny Heroes, Celestial and Plasma, for that DPE package, and that's going to be it for the regular effect monsters. On to the rituals. We are playing the 1 copy of Magic Key Beta Buster. Now this is the card that actually allows us to not lose to cards like Dark Ruler No More or Forbidden Droplets, because when you summon him, he searches a counter trap that acts as a spell trap negate. We do still have the typical 3-card Cyber Angel engine. I don't think that you can really cut this. The only one that you might be able to consider cutting, because it's not actually part of the combo, is the Natasha, but Natasha's just really good going into like a grind game, or even if you're going past turn 2, just to be able to gain and steal resources. And finally, for the monsters, we are playing 1 copy of Draconids. This card can just steal games. I think it's actually a very crucial part to Drytron. I know that early on people weren't playing it, but they did soon quickly move to playing it. I just think it's a very good card. On to our spell traps. We are playing 1 copy of Call by the Grave and 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial just acts as another name, and obviously Call by the Grave the deck has and always will probably lose to hand traps, so we need that option there to stop them. We are playing 2 copies of Fusion Destiny. Now, obviously, we can't play this at 3 since we're going off of the new February Forbidden and Limited list, but I don't think it matters, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be making Predaplant Verte Anaconda to send it. You do want to have the potential to open it as part of your combo, just so that you can make like maybe an IP or something in place of that Verte, but I think that the Fusion Destiny at 2 is perfectly fine. The ban list didn't really matter for that. We are playing 2 copies of Meteona's Drytron. I know that a lot of players only play this at 1, but I think that it's just way too important to play it at 2, not only so that you can continue to use it more times as you go, but so that your Zeta's not dead going into the next turn, because you can Zeta search the other one. But I like the fact that if it's engraved, you can add it back off of its effect, then search it with another Zeta, activate it again, and you get it 2 times past turn 1, which isn't something that you normally do in this deck. We do have 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. No real explanation needed there, it's the search card for the deck. 3 copies of Drytron Nova. It is the deck-specific E-Telly, so again, no specific explanation needed. And for the last 6 cards that were, or not the last 6 cards, but the last 6 spells that we're playing, they are our going second options. We are playing 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. I think now more than ever this card is super important. Since we're not playing the Herald package in the main deck, we don't have a way to stop our opponent from going first, so we need to really just worry about breaking their board rather than preventing it. And we are playing triple copies of Mystic Mine. Now, I know this might get a lot of hate. Mystic Mine is a very cancerous and divisive card in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, but I think that it's really important for this deck's ability to go second. You don't really have any board breakers or anything that you can use to just out an already established board, so being able to Mystic Mine them and then go into Zeus and wipe the board is really the best bet that we have. And the last card in the deck is going to be the Magic Key Unlocking. This is the counter trap that the ritual monster searches. It just acts as a spell trap negate as long as we have a Magic Key ritual on our side of the field, and this is what allows the deck to not lose to cards like Dark Ruler or Droplets. So that is the main board. It is 40 cards. Let's go ahead and show you guys the extra deck. So kicking things off with the extra deck, we do play the 1 copy of Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. This is for the Dagda combo where we Scythe Lock our opponent. We are playing 3 synchros in Herald of Arclight for the Diviner, and then the combo piece of the deck, we are playing Zulkin and Crystal Wing. This is just a really cool way to put out another negate for our board, now that we've lost cards like the Fairy Engine without Eva. We are playing double copies of Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir. Now you do need to play 2 for the combo, because the combo does actually force you into using both. That way you can have enough material to continue ritualing, but you do have the second as a backup if they stop you going first. So I just think 2 is the correct answer, even if you're not going to play this particular combo. And then we have the Zeus engine with the Kikanagashi Fuko, the Downerd Magician, and the Zeus. Now I know that a lot of people are favoring the Lyrilusk Nightingale because it can attack directly, and you can have more pops, because if you use the effect of Fuko, you're only going to have the 1 pop. But the reason I'm opting for Fuko is so that we don't lose to hand traps. If we start our combo and they Ash us or Droll us or whatever hand trap it may be, if we end on the Fuko, it pretty much guarantees that we don't lose on the next turn, because it's unaffected by our opponent's card effects, and if we detach 2, it can't be destroyed by battle. So you slap this guy down in defense if you get hand trapped, and you're at least guaranteed another turn of play. Onto the Link monsters, we are playing 1 copy of Link Karibo, 1 copy of Artifact Dagda, and 1 copy of Predaplant Verte Anaconda. This is for the DPE combo where you side lock your opponent. Everybody knows how that works by now. We are playing the 1 IP Masquerina. The reason we're going for the IP Masquerina is in case we don't need to use the Verte. If we hard open the Fusion Destiny, the materials that would normally go towards making the Verte, we can make the IP Masquerina, and it just adds another form of disruption on our opponent's turn. And that form of disruption is going to come in Nightmare Unicorn. Some builds are playing Appaloosa, but I ultimately decided to cut it for our final card, which is going to be Boral Sword Dragon. Now, this you can make an Appaloosa for the IP, because if you end on the IP and the Dagda, you can make an Appaloosa for 2 more negates on your opponent's turn, but the deck does struggle a little bit in pushing for lots of damage, so I opted for the Boral Sword just so that on my next turn, if I'm stuck with the Dagda and the Predaplant, I can turn both into the Boral Sword and just go for game. Now, I do want to clarify for the people that are going to correct me in the comments, just the Dagda and the Predaplant won't make the Boral Sword because it does require 3 materials. I just meant that we have the ability to use both of them because they will be left over and essentially useless, so those plus anything else, or even just the Dagda +2 or the Predaplant +2 will make the Boral Sword, so just wanted to clarify that before you guys roast me in the comments. So for the combo portion, it is slightly different from the combo I showcased in my video 2 days ago, but it is still just a typical Alpha Zeta combo, so let me show you guys what it does. You're going to go ahead and start off with your Alpha, special summoning it by attributing your Zeta. Alpha will activate the effect to grab the Cyber Angel Benten. We can then use the Zeta in our graveyard to tribute the Benten we just added. This will allow us to add the copy of Meteona's Drytron from our deck to our hand, and then Benten activates, adding us our copy of Diviner. Here we overlay both of our Drytron monsters into a copy of Mu Beta, and Mu Beta activates on summon to send the copy of Gamma from deck to grave. Here we can normal summon out our Diviner, and Diviner will activate her effect, sending the copy of Herald from our deck to the graveyard, making her a level 6. Herald then activates to add us a copy of Beto Buster. Now here we're going to activate the Meteonis for the first time, and we can get rid of either material, it does not matter which one, but we're going to go ahead and resummon out the Benten. The reason that's important is because we can now tribute the Benten for the Gamma effect in our graveyard, and Gamma will then summon out itself and whatever material we detached. Benten will activate her effect once more since she was tributed. This will add us a copy of Cyber Angel Ideten, and then we can use the effect of Meteonis in our graveyard, targeting either of the 3 Drytrons we have, it really does not matter which one, to add the Meteonis back to our hand. Here we're going to activate the Meteonis again, and we will get rid of the final material on our first Mu Beta to summon out our copy of Ideten, and this will let Ideten activate on summon to add back the Meteonis that just went to graveyard. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to take the Diviner, which is again a level 6, and the Ideten, and we're going to synchro summon those off into the Ultimaya Zulkin. Here we can take our Meteonis and set it, activating the effect of Ultimaya Zulkin to summon out the copy of Crystal Wing. Now, it's actually very important that you do it in this order, and the reason is because of Nibiru. At any point before the Crystal Wing hits the field, you are susceptible to getting Nibiru'd, so you don't want to turn both of your Drytrons into your second Mu Beta until you have the Nibiru negation on the field. because if you turn these into the Mu Beta and then they Nibiru you, you don't really have a good follow-up for your next turn. So by keeping the Mu Beta in extra deck until this point, we do guarantee that we don't just lose it to a Nibiru. So the next thing that we're going to do is take the Ultimate Zolkin and the Mu Beta that we already have on field, and we're going to link those off into the copy of Artifact Dagda. This is so that when we do activate our Meteonis, we do get to set the Scythe. We then take both of our Drytrons and overlay them into our second Mu Beta. Here we will activate the Meteonis, triggering the Dagda. This will let us set the copy of Artifact Scythe from our deck to our field, and then we can summon out the Iditen, again getting rid of either material, it does not matter which one. Iditen hits the field, and this allows us to add back the Meteonis that then goes to graveyard. So now we still have the Meteonis, the Beto Buster, and 3 random cards in our hand, but this is where we set up the Spell Trap Negate. We go ahead and activate the Meteonis, getting rid of the last material on the Mu Beta. This summons out the Beto Buster, and then Beto Buster effect activates, adding us our Magic Key Unlocking from our deck to our hand. Then to end the combo, we take the Mu Beta and the Iditen, and we link both of these away into the Verte Anaconda. Using the Verte Anaconda, we pay our 2,000, we send our Fusion Destiny along with our Celestial and our Plasma, and this lets us put a copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer on our field. We set our Magic Key Unlocking, and we pass our turn. So now during our opponent's turn, we do have a monster negate, we do get to Scythe Lock them, and we don't lose to Dark Ruler or Droplets because we have the Beto Buster and the Unlocking. You might notice I also summoned all of the important monsters in defense. This is just so that I can't really get Lightning Stormed, because if they Lightning Storm me, they're just going to Scythe anyway, so, I mean, it just makes sure that I can still get all of the effects that I need. And that's pretty much it. The main difference between this and the combo that I showed you guys the other day is that instead of making the Dagda, we used both Mu Betas to go into the F-Zero package, but this might be just a little bit stronger considering now we have the Scythe Lock for our opponent, so let me know what you guys think. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and maybe consider supporting me on Patreon, because for just $1, you can support the channel in a way that I would never be able to tell you how much I fully appreciate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.